For this semester project, Med 7 Group 7 set out to teach the intangible cultural heritage behind Umqombothi, a traditional South African beer, by simulating the beer brewing process through a virtual reality experience. We also collaborated with 2 researchers from the University of Johannesburg, who validated the contents of the simulation throughout the project period. Intangible cultural heritage are things like physical artifacts and monuments, but also traditions and ideas, which all have great socio-economic benefits to minority groups. But how do we teach these complicated concepts? Umqombothi is a good example of intangible cultural heritage, a tradition that has mainly been transmitted orally between generations and serves as a good benchmark for if such a complicated idea can be communicated more broadly, thus ensuring its preservation. The concept of embodied interaction, specifically in a virtual reality setting, has proven very effective at teaching students in STEM areas, where it is likely to cultivate greater student engagement than traditional classroom contexts. The game consists of a beer brewing simulation, where the player mixes ingredients, stirs them together, and the like, but also contains a series of mini-games on a more abstract level to convey the chemistry behind the beer through interactions with an enzyme gun. To support all these different interactions, we developed our own interaction system, which allowed for greater composability and interoperability between game elements. The system also supported logging of all game elements, which could then be used to ensure stable performance and validity between tests. To maximize immersion, in addition to developing the game in virtual reality, the simulation environment was also thematically set in a South African township. Other features of the game included ambient soundscapes for all 3 levels. As well as a diegetic voiceover, guiding and giving context to the player's actions throughout the game.
I will need you to get started with the Umqombothi brew today. Leave it to cool overnight. You are fermenting the beer. Keep going.
Testing the game was a big part of this project. We conducted technical evaluations regularly through the entire development cycle, but also a usability test towards the end with participants to gather feedback on the user experience of the game. Finally, we conducted a pilot test where we had an independent group of people set up and conduct the evaluation on a couple of participants, including a follow-up interview. The logging data was also analyzed by us post-experiment to verify that it worked correctly. Unfortunately, the game was not able to be tested in South Africa as originally planned, but was instead tested on comparable Danish participants where the retention of intangible cultural heritage information could still be measured and previous knowledge of South African culture was virtually guaranteed to be limited. From the results of the study, it was clear that this system, despite its focus on embodied interaction, does not support the level of fidelity that will make each action memorable. You could almost say this system was too good at guiding the player through the game, which meant that less thought had to be put into each interaction. However, we also learned from the post-experience interviews that the environment detail resulted in elevated levels of self-reported immersion among some players. All in all, the evaluation showed promising knowledge acquisition among participants after only 1 playthrough of the game, thus uncovering both positives and negatives, which can guide further exploration in this space. Thank you for your attention.